Okay, it does look like I'm live. I'll go through and I'll try and remember to look into the microphone here. Um, Apologize for the lateness. Just going through and in fact, I'll have to go through and mm, let me get another display on so I can read a little bit easier. In fact, that'll even make me focus on the webcam a little bit more. No, I didn't want that one. I wanted, ow, this one. Why is the, okay. No, not that one either. Too many remotes around here. Ah, there, at least I heard the right chime. Okay, you think you could take an adult grizzly with the K-bar chest cavity? I don't know what to think of that question. I don't think I could take on the grizzly. I don't even think I could take on a black bear or maybe even a teddy bear at this point. I, I don't have the energy level or the skills for something like that. Um, and I I don't have a K bar. I wasn't issued a K bar. I think that's a Marine thing. Um, so I mean, my jacket says U.S. Navy, and it has a CB on it. So in fact, I would have to see on my OBS. Let me move up my OBS up to the um, the big screen up here, and that way I can see all the details there. But no, I couldn't take on a grizzly with the K bar. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna start up just going through, and we'll see if some other people drop in to the live stream as well. I'm gonna go through and uh, probably mix up a drink, although that's just water. Hi, Chris. How are you doing? It's going to be afternoon for you, but morning for me. I was just talking about mixing up a drink, but in this case, it just means water with the oh, with the no sugar um, flavor packets added. If I were a authentic YouTube channel, I would go through and have a poll on which flavor I would put into my drink or something else. I think I'm going to try and adjust my headset here a little bit, just because my she's telling me a lot that my microphone's muted and things like that. So okay, citrus punch, and all these are they're the no sugar, and it flavors the water, which that's pretty much all I drink now, other than coffee. I do have condensed coffee drink. I do, you know, um, really my blood pressure is not a it's not a concern right now. My blood pressure readings are typically pretty good, um, even on the low side compared to uh, my grandfather that had high blood pressure and things like that. It's my pulse rate that's down. So really, in the sense of caffeine and things like that, I can go through and have so or there's less as long as I do that in moderation. Coffee is a good thing. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to and none of this is sponsorship, of course. Any of the brand names that you see, just what I find in the local store. But yeah, the I know Chris is probably planning. I saw Chris, another friend, going through talking about VCF East. I would almost even love to be. In fact, I've entertained getting over to VCF East again, and I don't know, with it being just a short distance off, that just I think about what, a month away. Chris can probably update me if I'm not thinking the right time frame. And I guess I could launch a page to look at the timing too, but probably a little bit too close by for me to go through and schedule things like a flight and to uh, just to have enough of the uh, disposable income to attend VCFEs, I think, this year. Um, I'd even love to go through and I'd probably have to do a rental, but even do a reverse of driving back east and actually carrying some stuff to that I'd promised a long time ago to to Steve. I'm and no, you can see my face. I'm not geek with social skills. I I'm a different person, and I'm talking about where I've got some Apple gear, some Macintosh stuff to take to I agreed to give to a friend back east uh, even a couple years ago now. So I don't necessarily. I mean, I know people have seen the videos, and I do recommend watching the videos that Ron, even have it, and Dave, having Adrian Black do a cameo on one of Ron's videos, just to get a little bit of background on some of the stuff that's going on. I don't necessarily know that I want to get involved in that aspect. I've got enough on my plate otherwise, and thankfully, I've not had any interaction any interaction with the person in question. So, yeah, greetings from Europe. I try and do these early enough in the morning, at least when I was doing the regular Saturday live streams, so that it'd be early enough for the Europeans um, to watch. I'm glad we're going through and getting some viewers built up here. I'm just kind of catching up on my morning still as well. Um, uh, I'm not going to answer that at the moment. I will go through and, if anybody drops any questions in the chat, I can certainly answer them from based on what my my last video was, my little catch up video, and there's otherwise been I didn't get into a lot more detail of the background behind, other than the medical conditions that have been affecting me, most recently within the last month. And so there's other areas I'll address as well. I mean, I don't know if I'll I could probably with this aspect of the YouTube channel get into talking about what video content I may have coming up, and I actually may try even a different angle, a little bit off topic from my moniker, not necessarily being focused on any of the computer stuff or vintage stuff. I've got the monitor that's at least duplicated. Otherwise, is cutting in and out. But oh well, we'll just deal with it. Um, I'm even thinking of it might be some time to have some content about some of the things that I deal with on daily basis with Facebook. Just taking it to another platform, maybe be a little bit more visible there. It's definitely a lot more safer to not talk about Facebook on Facebook. It's being safer because Facebook will go through and sanction you for any negative comments, if it thinks that you're trying to go against their ad revenue stream. They'll go through and they've got a definite problem with that. So I think YouTube might be a good platform to go through. I'll have to go through and even censor the photos that I would show, the photos that I get, the images I get from the Facebook side, the sponsored ads, and the the profiles I go through and report. I would even have to go through and censor those images so that I'm not thought as putting out that sort of adult content, even though Facebook is uh, the entity that's sending me that content and going through and allowing those profiles to remain up. So that might be something I have to see if that would be something that maybe go viral, or uh, uh, get a set of viewers out there or people that would be interested in a topic like that. So that's a possible video topic beyond me getting into the regular content that I have planned otherwise, concerning the the IBM Museum, topics. The behind the scenes, there's been an effort here in the studio, um, to go through and to get actually the token ring items up here, moved up here, and I do have some stacks off behind me and things like that of the adapters and things like that. I wanted to go through and start segmenting some of the areas to where I would have the token ring in one area. And really, it was funny because it was over the winter time, and it was an idea that I would go through and move a bigger system here in the studio, um, to supply a little bit more heat, and take my AS400 down to the house in the area where I plan to set up a studio at home, and have it powered up there. Just because I was getting some devices, that'd be a little bit better for me to have the AS400 powered up at home, and so I could go through and try some things, and have the token ring stuff here, uh, just as a side area of the way that I could work on those angles too. But I'm even planning to go through and set up a site-to-site VPN and between the studio and the house, and to go through to where I can even connect onto my AS400, and that way I can have some terminals and even some terminal emulation systems here in this studio that I can show going through and doing just trunking them over a VPN to where the AS400 is, which is actually just a really amazing concept for what that could be. Um, so there's some video content that's planned. I'll have to just scale that with what I have for an energy level for kind of my motivation level. I'm trying to go through and step up um, and still have my YouTube channel active and of course all the other activities I do. But it definitely is a push at times. I have to go through and get myself motivated for it just because I've got a lot of other stuff on my plate. I'm dealing with a lot of um, other areas that take a lot of time and energy. I'm not even talking about my regular employment, which is great. But there's some aspects of going through and trying to get that new studio set up at home. I'm a little bit better set up for that now, but that's going to take a little bit more time and effort. So so three-phase power, um, and at home, I'm actually going through and I'm routing. One of the big projects I'm doing at home is I'm having to route power uh, to my house differently than what it's been. And that's just been over the years of my house growing in size um, with my decades ago with my dad going through and adding on to the house that I live in now with my family. And he had three-phase lathe and stuff like that that he had to run. Um, I don't have any equipment right now. I'd be actually feeding the electrical power into the shop that he used to have, where he used to have the three-phase power. And I don't have any equipment there at the house, even up to the system 34s that require any three-phase power. It's only the biggest units go up to just the need for 220 volts. And I also have that here down at the side. I'd show it, but my studio is a little bit junky at my feet and things like that off to the left behind me. I have my NetFanny 7000, and that's primarily for the SPAC of the token ring. And I'm running. In fact, I can get the display powered on for it. Otherwise, I'd power up the other unit that give me the IBM museum graphics on it and things like that. But this is the NetFanny 7000 that's connected up through behind me. It'll probably go through and yeah, I'll start getting the pipes screensaver that's been drawing now for weeks on end, running as I've got it set up as a DHCP server, and actually going through to where it connects up the token ring devices. I'll go through probably a level of bridging later on with it. We talk about some of the video topics that I've got coming up. And I've got all the ThinkPads out here on the bench that with the token ring PCMCI adapters in them. But this Netfinity 7000 has has four Pentium Pro 200 megahertz CPUs, and that's the models with the 1 megabyte of cache, of L1 cache. Um, and then I've got 4 gigabytes of RAM on it. And so it, in fact, that memory scale that's there in the middle of the window, that has that'll never register anything for the memory capacity that this system has. The CPUs are merely just a blip for some of the for the usage levels. The first CPU is showing up the most, and then there's some minor stuff on the other CPUs there. But yeah, for that RAM usage, we're not even at 1% of where it'd have to graph anything. There's just a very straight yellow line that's there at the bottom of that display that's starting to fill in for the memory usage, and I would have to see of what I could do to go through and load down this machine a little bit, um, and make that react. But I thought I'd get that powered on. Um, to It's just kind of been churned away. I need to go through and get back active on it. So yeah, I've there's been something recently with the um, on one of the groups I was on. It was to talk about the different the different bees, and I got these both from the logo store. And I think this bee, and I made a comment of a post about a year or more ago that this bee here was someone was selling them on eBay for like $25 plus shipping. And the funny thing was you could get it for so low a price on the authentic IBM logo store, and they're just doing a markup. They're buying them and then marking them up to sell them. I've been on the IBM logo store recently, and I think that they're still selling. Well, I looked for this one. I don't know if they're still selling some of the stuff. This is the bee from the so-called Rebus, IBM Rebus, so the bee that goes through and flies around in like the screensaver and things like that. And then this is just a plus version of that. I got this from the logo store as well. They have the authentic tag from IBM. I've not seen this one being sold recently, so I don't know if they've taken that out of stock. But yeah, the bees, I like having them around the studio. I thought about originally having some sort of mechanical process there behind me that would go through and on this background go through and move the the bee or something else, but I don't know. The animation of the eye too would be just really so hard to do, and so yeah, just some of the stuff I have in the background. And as I made the comment on the other video, I mean, this the studio here has just sat like this for months. The last few months of going through and languished away while I was busy with other stuff and just going through the health issues I was without any real energy to come up here and do anything. Um, and I was aware of kind of the cliffhanger too, that where I did a post from even my a video recorded from my office, and I think that was even like a live stream maybe. because it dropped out. The recording was not great, and it left people on a cliffhanger thinking that I was going back into the military and stuff like that. And at that time, I was going through and talking to a recruiter and trying to go back into the reserves. Most all of that's been resolved at this point, and I'm processing towards a military retirement right now. That's finally come through, and I'm able to go through and do that. So there is, like I say, these are the other factors that behind the scenes that are not necessarily going to be um, to come up with the aspect of the YouTube channel, but it's I've got to spend my a little bit of time and energy on those aspects as well. So um, those are other factors that kind of tie me up as well. But I'm going to go through and try to have at least um, uh, to have to where I can produce a video per week or something of that nature, to where just slowly put a little bit more effort into the channel again. Now that I've gone through and crested over the 2,000 viewers, I just thought I need to get back into it. I need to address um, some of the stuff out there. I feel like there's a little bit of a void still. There is some brand new YouTubers that are kind of moving into things and getting set up, and people getting channels set up, which is great. I love to see more content out there. Um, what that's going to mean on YouTube as well is because there's been um, aspects of YouTube as well. There, some people have had some real problems with the way that YouTube is going through and trying to adjust their platform. Uh, most of the talk has been about the ad blocker stuff, where YouTube is going through and trying to get people to where they're not blocking ads. Um, and they do that to varying levels. I mean, some people have their way that works that they don't necessarily talk about sometimes, just so that they know that, uh, or they conceal that the method that they use, so YouTube won't go through and target that a little bit more. But these social media platforms are changing out there, and they're trying to adjust um, to how they sell you as their product. Sell to go through and use you to generate their revenue, and it comes into some interesting areas. So we'll just have to see um, what this will really come to. um, but uh, I don't know if I'll go through and I may have to come up with another platform to discuss the YouTube ills. Maybe I'll go through and discuss those on Facebook or something else. But I'm going to go through. I think I'm going to touch on at least some of the aspect that I have to deal with on Facebook. I think that'll make actually for some good universal videos that might interest some other viewers that normally wouldn't look at my channel, um, because I've got some real critical questions that I'd like to see addressed, and in particular, it's all of what we hear. It's all the AI um, aspects that is coming into the IT industry, plus a lot of other business aspects, and how that's going to be affect um, with how these platforms are going to change, how that's going to change our society. So yes, I definitely agree. We need to get the I-class stuff going and a little bit further. I need to go through and actually push through the PS2 Portal aspect a lot more as well, because I think that that's going to be a um, something that is going to be kind of a good thing if it's the way that I envision it, for keeping the PS2s alive and making them more functional in that regard. So I'm open to that as well. Um, I do have, in fact, I've got to go through and see if the recycling is running this weekend once the stream ends here. The local recycling, they take the plastic bottles, the clear plastic bottles, and they they recycle those, but they only have two collection weekends. Actually, it's about 4 hours over the span of a month's time, because they do it the second and the fourth weekend of each month. So once the stream is over here, I've got to go through and check on that real quickly. Um, I'm not trying to cut the stream short or anything like that. Of these plastic balls, I go through and we actually have a refilling station that I use now, that's the filtered water, there at my workplace. So I go through and I'll I initially buy the water bottles, but going through and this water that was in here before I put the mix um, in there was the filtered water from those dispensers. So I'm not going through and producing needless plastic bottles out there either. That's something to be concerned about in our society as well, making sure that we're socially conscious on our recycling habits and things like that. So let me read through the comments. I know that there's been a good um, stream of comments there, and yeah, I hope that the text analyzer is doing a good job for you, Hugh, to give you captions of what I'm saying. Um, so I'm trying to keep healthy. I mean, I know that that was a big aspect of what I tried to address in the video, the update, coming along for the first time in 5 or 6 months and having a video that talked about some of the events that have happened. And I'm doing pretty good. I do have I mean, I think a big aspect of it as well is just my energy levels are just a little bit down from what they've been in the past, of course. And I expect many people go through that as well, just part of the aging process. Um, but as I say, getting old is definitely better than the alternative, even though there's issues with aging and not being the spry youthful person anymore, doing the things that you were able to do in the past. But I'm doing fine. I think my health is where I can manage it at a level. There doesn't appear, with all the diagnostic tests, there doesn't appear to be anything that I should be overly concerned about, other than just managing my diabetes, and going through and making sure my blood glucose levels are good. But I do go through and I do, check my pulse rates. I do go through and check my blood pressure a lot, just trying to make sure that I, and catch anything. So I'm glad to see the wide range of people that have joined the stream here. I see some actually some big names and the people I've corresponded with in the past, and I do want to thank everyone for the donations to my fundraiser. As I've announced in the video, I'm actually just curtailing those to the just to the expenses that my medical insurance is not covered otherwise, and so that's you know the I'm I'm perfectly fine with that as long as I the those expenses are covered. I'm not going to ask for anything more of people. I don't expect people to donate. As I mentioned in the update video, if you feel that that's something that um, you'd rather participate in and uh, me on my channel or fund the aspects of the channel, become a Patreon, rather than going through and making a donation on the medical expenses. If you feel that that's the aspect I touch on with you, but I just thought it was worth putting out there and a chance to go through and crowdsource um, some of the expenses I've had that insurance has not covered. Um, so let me. I dropped the link for that in the chat. Please just look that over. I'm trying to actually keep that fundraiser updated as well, trying to provide information there. I'm not going to sometimes being putting out too much information publicly um, about certain aspects, but I can always be asked, and that's the what I want to set up here on this live stream. If anybody wanted to ask any further questions or um, just uh, to have me provide a little bit more information if they want to hear it. But yeah, and the thing I notice on video, and I don't notice this in real life in the mirror or anything like that, I always have a heavier growth on the I think it's on the left side of my mustache, and you even get to see the nasal hairs there. Wonderful. When I raise my head like that. I'm sorry. I joke around with people that I have a white hair that comes out of each nostril that's like a tusk, that if I allow those to grow, um, and I try and keep those trimmed. But the the beard is going to, and of course, there's the length that you see now. It's going to that's going to change from time to time. I do go through, of course, over the last uh, months since my last update. I mean, I've gone through and uh, shaved it and things like that. For the military retirement I'm doing, it's going to actually have to come. The beard is going to have to come all the way off, and the mustache would be greatly curtailed, or groom to get the grooming standard of being in uniform. But that's likely going to be a few months off, and people will be aware of that as that happens. Just to go through where I can get that chapter in my life that uh, to the closure that it needs as well. So, but I am feeling better. Definitely from the aspect I have of a month ago, I was not really knowing exactly where I would be. I didn't know um, how much time I would have left. I didn't. I was definitely feeling and having a lot of effects on my body that I really was trying to understand, and going through my body is really a if I think that I go through and I'm experiencing something, my body definitely does give me some symptoms to be concerned about. The I It just tries to nag me to pay attention to it, and I experience some effects um, that I chalk up to my health and possible underlying issues that aren't necessarily there. It's a strange place to be, but I manage that through other uh, stress control methods and just going through and gain the right input from the doctors and physicians that are going through and treat me to know that the test results look good at this point. They look like I'm not having to go through any of these drastic health issues that could happen. So um, yeah, I'm managing well enough in the United States. I would hope that we would get some health care established for the United States, or that would be a little bit better than what we have currently. And in particular, with the veteran aspect, I I mean, I've even learned within the last few months I could have been under VA care for the last 16 years. I could have been. The Navy made a mistake when it didn't allow me to retire, and they just didn't count up the time that I had well enough to understand I had time to retire, and so they went through and denied my retirement at that time, which would have provided no cost VA care for the last 16 years if I had done that. And certainly that would have been a vast financial benefit to me as well. It would have even actually covered some times of the last several years that I've not had any medical insurance at all. So I am grateful for what I've got in place now, because if this had happened a few years ago, it would have been just absolutely devastating for me to pay the medical cost. Um, but it is what it is. I have the good medical coverage now, but there is still some side expenses, of course, that are not covered by insurance. They cover the vast majority, but there are some side expenses, and that's why I created that fundraiser and have now cut it back to just the what covers the expenses that I have outstanding for myself. But so yes, I understand. People brag in other countries and of what healthcare that they have set up, and that's probably a very nice thing to have. I wish that we could go through and in the United States have the equivalent for something like that too, not just for our veterans but for everybody. Um, it would be nice if it had if we did take care of our veterans a little bit more, but well, that's something we'll just have to work on as well. Um, so it's coming along up to if I'd have run the stream, if I'd started the stream on the correct time frame, it'd have been about an hour. I'm going to go through. I'm uh, just going to say, you'll see me in the next video. You'll see me in the. I'll try and go through and at least schedule these live streams for the Saturdays again. Because that's one of the things I really did enjoy with my channel, just interacting with the viewers and the friends that I had out there on these live streams. Um, so, but I'm going to go through and yes, yeah, yeah, and I think that's true of more than just the United States. That we wish the veteran care was more. I've I think it's other countries beyond the United States that we just don't take care of our veterans like we should. But um, hopefully that's something that we can improve on over time. And I look forward to chatting with you guys again. If there's anything that any questions or anything else that you feel that I can information I can provide, please reach out to me, and I'll be sure to answer those. I'll set up a topic for next Saturday as well. I don't know what that'll be on the live stream, but we'll just go from there. And I'm going to go through and close the stream now. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. This is IBM Museum. That's all I have for now. Thank you.